I'm Nancy Grace. I want to thank you for being with us. Bombshell tonight. A beautiful girl described as timid, shy, a real homebody. Just graduates nursing school, then goes missing from the local Barnes & Noble's bookstore tonight. Why do cops get the DNA from her parents?
It's just really odd. This is just really odd. This is not right. Something's wrong. On Sunday, Lee's brother says his sister left the house about 4 in the afternoon. Her brother says he didn't worry until several hours passed and she didn't come home.
Most of the time, when she took off, she usually go to Barnes & Noble.
Monday morning at 4 a.m., her brother says he found her car in the parking lot with the windows down and her purse, cell phone, and wallet in the trunk.
Airfield police say they are prepared for the worst-case scenario, that this could be a stranger abduction. And so they have dedicated significant resources to this case.
We have only one witness at this time that has put her at Barnes & Noble, said that they saw her studying over at Barnes & Noble.
Well, on Tuesday, the Sassoon City Police Department, which is where Phuong Lee lives, got together with the Fairfield Police Department, where this bookstore is located, and they are collaborating with this case.
At her home, police went through her room, taking credit cards, a digital camera, her passport, and even her social security card. Meaning if this young woman wanted to run away, why would she leave everything behind?
We are taking your calls live straight out to Henry K. Lee, reporter with San Francisco Chronicle, author of Presumed Dead, a true life murder mystery. Henry, what's the latest? I know police in the last hours have had a press conference.
That's right, Nancy. I was at that news conference in Fairfield, east of San Francisco. No signs of Phuong Lee still at this time. No signs of foul play. All they know is that she has been missing, and they have taken DNA samples from her parents in the event of a development. What we do know is that they have no idea who might want to harm her, so it is a completely open case, Nancy.
Okay, let's go back over the facts now. Henry Lee, you're telling me they got DNA from the parents, not because they suspect the parents of any wrongdoing, but because if they find suspicious DNA, they want to be able to compare it back to the parents to try to match it to Lee?
That's right. This is a standard investigative
technique. Okay, wait a minute. Hold on. Why didn't they get her DNA from the home? Toothbrush, razor, a million ways. Soda can she left in the refrigerator. There's a million ways to get her actual DNA. Did they do that?
I'm pretty sure they did, Nancy, but they're not telling us. That is all standard for police to do, to take DNA samples from close family members, and we'll see where that leads us.
Okay, Henry K. Lee, joining us live from San Francisco. I want to talk about when and how she disappeared. Go back through it with me. Everybody, the tip line, 707-428-7345. This young girl just graduates nursing. She's absolutely gorgeous. She spends a lot of time studying for her nursing boards there at the local Barnes & Nobles. Now, how many times, let's see the outside of that, Rosie, in full, please. How many times do you go there and there's, 50, 100 people milling around. They're eating pastries, they're drinking that specialty coffee, they're reading, they're not buying anything, I'm sure, but they're all congregating there. You'd think the group at Barnes & Noble is not the group you got to be afraid of, okay? Am I right about that? Henry Lee, she goes to Barnes & Noble's. Did she buy anything? Do we have a receipt?
They are not telling us what they found, and unbelievably, Nancy, they could not find her on surveillance tape inside the cafe, the Starbucks cafe inside Barnes & Noble.
Stacy Newman, our producer on the story. If police are not telling us whether there's a receipt, then there's not a receipt, all right? Because that's one of the first things they put out there to try to establish a timeline. We can place her here, buy her receipt at 8:30 p.m. Yes, no.
True, Nancy, but remember, cops are keeping a lot of things close to the vest as they normally do in investigations. As a matter of fact, in that news conference, they did say they were doing a lot of things behind the scenes that family did not know about. So there could actually be a fact that there is a receipt, and they're just not letting us know that.
I had somebody talking in my ear. Repeat. I missed you on the last two sentences.
No, what I was saying is normally in an investigation, cops do keep things close to the vest. Now, in that presser today, they did say that they were working a lot of things behind the scenes the family did not even know about. So there actually could be a receipt, Nancy, and they're just not telling us that right now.
Back to Henry K. Lee. We're taking your calls. Henry, let's go out to Kim in North Carolina. Hi, Kim.
Hi, Nancy. How are you?
I'm great. How are you? And what's your question?
I first had a comment to let you know that I'm 41 years young, and I have a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old.
Well, honey, I got 10 years on you and one twin. But let me ask you something. You've got two. Do they stay in the same room?
No.
Mine are in the same room. They don't want to be separated, but it's causing a lot of problems at nap time. Okay, Kim, what's your question?
You kind of answered one, and that was I wanted to know, was there surveillance in Barnes & Noble? And my second question was, why did they wait 48 hours to report her missing?
Excellent question. Let's go to her brother. Phuong Lee is with us. Mr. Lee, thank you for being with us. Why the delay in reporting your sister missing?
Hi, Nancy. The delay was because one of the officers told me that my sister was over 21, she's an adult, she's 25, she's an adult, so the condition that is missing just not even overnight yet, so it's not critical. So
oh, Mr. Lee, that is bad. And typically, having been on the side of the state, I side with the state. But to tell him that, out to Tom Shamshat, former cop, private investigator, instructor, Boston University. Tom, they said she's over 21. She's not missing. She could be out at a bar somewhere. What the hey?
Nancy, good evening. Nancy, unfortunately, that's the refrain that a lot of families hear. There is no uniform standard similar to what happens when a child goes missing. The NCIC requirement to enter that into the system immediately. That's a problem in this country.
To Henry K. Lee, San Francisco Chronicle. Henry, how much time did we lose?
Well, at this news conference that I attended today in Fairfield, Nancy, police are saying there was no time lost. There was a miscommunication, they acknowledge, but that had to do with the designation of Phuong Lee as either at risk or not at risk. She is now deemed at risk. Initially, she was not. Part and parcel of the you're over 21, so, you know, she may not really be missing kind of issue.
Okay, you know what? I don't know what you just said. Let's just go through the timeline, Henry. When did she go to Barnes & Noble's?
She was last seen at 8:30 p.m. Sunday night at the Barnes & Noble by a witness, a male witness, who confirms that he believes that's Phuong Lee.
8:30. Was she there in the restaurant area, the coffee area? Was she reading a book? Was she buying anything?
She seemed to be at a cafe, at a table. Nothing seemed amiss, according to the witness, the police tell us.
I know that she goes there a lot at night to study. How many times in the evening, ladies, have you gone to the bookstore? It seems like a perfectly safe place to be. All right, she's there at 8:30. She leaves. Tell me about where her car was discovered, Henry Lee.
Car was found. It's a 97 Honda Accord white in the parking lot of the Fairfield Mall where Barnes & Noble is located. And, of course, the brother, Phuong Lee, found her cell phone and backpack in the trunk of the car. So the car's there, no signs of the sister.
Were the windows up or down?
The back windows were halfway down. That is not unusual, Phuong Lee tells me, because the front windows may not have been in working order. So it may have been used for ventilation purposes, which is why the windows were halfway down.
Okay, to Pat Brown, criminal profiler. Pat, what do you think?
Well, I'm concerned about two things. One, that the witness actually did see her. In fact, she was in the bookstore. And why is her backpack in the trunk with the windows down? Did somebody dump the car there with her stuff in it? Or did she actually drive there and something happened? Or she was just getting into a car and something happened? Did she usually put her stuff in the trunk? That's a good,
Missing,
important question.
24-year-old nursing graduate, Phuong Lee. She's absolutely gorgeous. 707-428-7345. Vanishes from the local Barnes & Noble's bookstore. Have you seen Lee?
Anytime somebody leaves their home and doesn't contact family members, leaves their cell phone, I have a 20-year-old daughter, and I can tell you that she doesn't leave the house without that cell phone at any given time. So it's little things like that that, yes, make this an at-risk or suspicious type of missing person.